Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2 Unit 4.12 Notes, Day 2. Today we are continuing our discussion on systems of linear absolute value and quadratic functions. Our learning target today is to be able to write the equations of a system of functions. Now, let's remember the three types of functions that we're talking about. First is a linear function. Linear functions can either be diagonal, okay? When they're diagonal, you notice that they have a slope and they have a y-intercept. Our slope could be positive, which means it could rise, or it could fall. Okay, so we have a couple different options there. And then another time, if it doesn't have an x, that's when it is just a horizontal line. It has a slope, but the slope is lazy. The slope is 0. Okay? Absolute values. Remember that with absolute values that, hey, it's got to have the absolute value symbols in it. Okay, we need to find our vertex, our initial point where we start with. So we take the opposite of what's inside and the k stays the same. And we like to refer to the a as the slope, but it's our pattern. It tells us what to do. Okay? And then with quadratics, once again, we have to pay attention. That square tells us something. And then once again, we take the opposite. This is the same. And once again, that A is our pattern. It tells us what to do. And sorry, I forgot to say this is our slope. With absolute values, we have straight lines, okay? And it's a V either going up or down. Our parabolas are quadratics. They're either going to be going up or they're going to be going down. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this. So it's asking us to identify the solutions of the system and what else? So identify the solutions of the system as well as the equations of the functions. So I'm going to kind of color code everything. So my blue will be my blue line, my green will be the green equation. All right, so I like to look at my solutions first. So I'm looking at the points where they intersect, okay? And so the points where they intersect, we have this guy right here at 0, 3. I have this one over here at -4, -1, okay? So down here for solutions, that's going to be the first thing that I write. -4, -1, and 0, 3. Okay? Now, it doesn't matter which one you look at first, okay? I'm just going to pick on the green one first. So there we go. I'm looking, it's a diagonal line. So that is linear. Okay, so I know this is linear. So I need my slope, which is 1/1. And then I need my y-intercept, which is 0, 3. Okay, so to write that in function form, I would say that f of x equals 1x plus 3. Now, I do not have to say the 1 there, so you could write, sorry, this looks all crazy. You could just say x plus 3. That's fine. Okay? Now our next one, our blue points, our blue equation. The first thing that I notice about my blue one is that it's absolute value. Okay? Not only is it absolute value, but it's negative. So I need to figure out what is my pattern. Okay? And there it is. Go through and count. We go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. So my pattern, my A, is negative 2 over 1, which is negative 2. And then I need my initial, the vertex, the guy in the middle, and that is at negative 1, positive 5. So I'm going to come down here. I'm just going to use g of x equals negative 2, absolute value, x plus 1. I'll zoom out so you can kind of see everything again. And then plus 5. Okay? Remember, I take the opposite of the negative 1 and the 5 stays the same. Okay? All right, number 2. Find our 2 points. And if you want to write them on the graph, you can write them on the graph. 1, negative 2, and 2, negative 1. Okay? And we'll just stick with doing the green first. Okay, so looking at the green, it's a parabola, and it's going down. So I went down 1 over 1, down 4 over 2, which tells me that my pattern is 1, and then I need to know my vertex, and the vertex was 2, negative 1. So as I come over here to write my equation, you don't always have to use f of x and g of x. You can go crazy and use an h or a t or whatever comes to your mind. So it equals negative 1. That's my a out front, my pattern. X minus 2 squared minus 1. Okay? And then we're going to do our next one, which is the absolute value. So our next one, we'll just write our notes right here. It's absolute value. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. That looks like it's 1 over 1 every time, right? So our A is 1. And then our vertex, where we start, it's at 1, negative 2. So when I come down here, g of x equals 1, absolute value of x minus 1 minus 2. Okay, and you do not need to have the 1. Technically, you don't have the 1 there for either of them, but we like to put it there to reinforce what our slope or what our pattern is. Okay, so number 3, you guys are going to do the solutions for me and we'll do the equations together. Go ahead and pause the video and good luck. Okay, you should have gotten negative 2, negative 2, and 0, negative 2. So my first equation is going to be the green equation. That is my parabola. And it looks like I went 2 and then 2, 4, 6, 8. Yep, that's what it is. Do you guys know what your pattern is yet? You went 2 over 1 and then we go 8 over 2. Yeah, so for our parabola, our A equals 2, and then we need the vertex of negative 1, negative 4. Okay? So f of x equals positive 2, and then we had negative 1, negative 4, so that's x plus 1 squared, don't forget the squared, minus 4. Okay, and then our next one, yeah, that's absolute value. It's a V. So absolute value. Our pattern, our slope is -1 over 1, -1 over 1. So it's -1. And then we start that at -1, -1. So h of x equals the -1 out front, absolute value of x plus 1, and then my -1 out front, or in the back. Okay? All right, number 4. Go ahead and find the solutions. Okay, the solutions, there we go, are right there. And those are at the points 2, 3, and 4, 3. So 2, 3, and 4, 3. All right, so green line first, that's our parabola. It's going down, and it went down 2, and then 2, 4, 6, 8. Yep. So I'm just going to write my notes right here that the parabola a equals -2. And then our vertex is at 3, 5. Okay, so f of x equals -2 parentheses x minus 3 squared plus 5. Okay, now our other one, my blue line, this is just horizontal, okay? So horizontal, I need to look at the number right here. It's where it is, and it's at 3. So when it's horizontal, we know that that is linear. Our slope is 0. And I like those ones because they're super easy. So we would just write g of x equals 3. And that's it. All right. So for this one, I want you to tell me what the solution or solutions are and the parabola. Okay, so you guys are in charge of the parabola, the quadratic. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and good luck. Okay, so the solution is -2, 3. And the parabola, we had a is -1, the vertex was -2, 3, so we get -1, x plus 2 quantity squared plus 3. Now, let's talk about the absolute value. We need to figure out what our a is. So how many up and how many over? How many up and how many over? So we go up 2 over 3. So that means our a, that slope, is 2 over 3. And then my starting point right here, that is at the point -2, +3. So as I come down here to write this, my g of x out front would be the fraction 2/3, that's our a, and then x plus 2 plus 3. Okay? All right, so number 6, you guys are on your own for everything. We have 2 parabolas, 2 quadratics, so that's not a big deal. Okay, you guys can do it. So find your solutions and then look at each quadratic individually. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and good luck. Okay, so our solutions were -2, -3, and 0, -3. The green parabola, the one going up, a was 2, and then our vertex was -1, -5. So we get f of x equals 2 quantity x plus 1 squared minus 5. Now our blue parabola was a little bit harder because they only gave you one point of the pattern, but that pattern was down 2 over 1. So that is a -2 pattern, and then the vertex was -1, -1. So we got g of x equals -2, x plus 1 quantity squared minus 1. Okay? Now, that's all for your homework. That's all for the notes today. If you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. Your homework is Unit 4.12 Notes, Practice B. If you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Otherwise, this is Mr. Grice signing off. Thanks for watching.